Welcome to Angelo's Tennis, and this is going to be the chart that I will talk about a lot. I've already talked about it slightly. Apologize for the bad picture. That's all I have for now. And this chart is in the book Competitive Tennis Advanced Techniques for Competitive Tennis by Richard Schonborn. And I have used this for my game, I've used it for my students' game, and it works. And it works well. So we're going to look at this side because that side is kind of hard to see. And just want to point out a couple things when it comes to training with this in mind. One thing that this does is it breaks down tennis in a simple way, which often tennis gets complicated because when you first start out playing tennis, the game could be so fast that you can't really look at it like this because you're just trying to deal with the ball. You're just trying to keep it in the court. And when you're just starting off playing tennis, you may want to keep it here in the red zone just to keep the ball in play. So something else I want to say, this can be used for beginners, but it's not the only thing that beginners are going to do. It's not the only thing that really any tennis player is going to do. And when I'm really giving this the importance that I'm giving it, it really is something that all levels can do, but is really for the advanced player, which I will get into beginner practices as well, but this is going to be more for the advanced. And one thing that this does to the mind is it really allows you to see the court, allows you to see the game for what it is. There's two sides, and there's two players, and there's a space, and you're just hitting the ball to the other side in a space in order to win the point. And that may sound simple and not really make sense, but that's important to understand that versus some of the other ways that you may see the game. So we have this red zone here in the middle, and you really want to avoid this red zone. And the reason is when you're playing someone who's got this in mind or is a really good player, anytime you hit this red zone, and this red zone here can be extended. I've seen Nadal play with a target with this zone. I don't have the video. I wish I had the video. I've seen him play at his home club with this zone. If you can see my cursor here, if I just move that out to here with a box, literally this is his target area. I've seen him play points like that. It's not to say you want to always do that, but you can extend this zone. You can extend this zone out even farther. As you get better, or if you want to get better as a practice tool. But when you hit this zone and you're playing players who are practiced like this, let's say you're on this side and the red zone's on this side and a player hits the middle there, you have the ability, again, with there's some circumstances when of course you can't do this. It could be the conditions, the court conditions, the wind. There's a lot of different factors, but generally speaking, you can play here. You can play here. He's got it marked 2 right and 2 left, so I'll use that. And here's 3 left and 3 right. You can play 2 right. You can play 2 left. You can play 3 left. You can play 3 right. Anytime the ball is here. So you can actually practice like this. And it's important to practice like this because then you get used to hitting different speeds and different balls to these areas. And you're not just waiting for, as I said, you get adapted to different conditions, and you're not just waiting for that perfect ball. Like, let's say, this is why it's important to play like this without a feed. If you have someone just feeding the ball to the middle of the court and you're just bombing balls to these outside targets, it's not the same because there has to be an awareness and there has to be a level of adaptability that you may see someone like Federer able to do. The ball may go here fast, it may go slower, it may go lower, higher, etc. And as you one thing the other thing about this practice, if as you start to practice like this, you'll start to see that. You'll see, oh well, now when I took over my shoulder and now I have to be able to hit two left. Let's say you're on this side, ball lands here, and it's up over your shoulder. You're hitting an inside out forehand here to two R. You may have to be able to hit a ball over your shoulder to this target to hit this target. You may realize that you don't want to do that, and you may realize that you want to slice. You might want to do an inside in or an inside in or an inside out slice because it's over your shoulder, and that's fine too. So you're going to realize that you're going to realize your weaknesses and what you need to practice when it comes to like more specifics. You're going to realize where you may not want to practice everything. You may not want to learn everything. Like I said, that high ball over the shoulder or above the shoulder, you may want to slice that as opposed to coming into a practice and saying, let's practice over the shoulder because you need to hit that. And as I just proved, you can hit a slice with a ball that's over your shoulder, a forehand slice, or you can take it above the shoulder as a regular forehand. You don't need to come out in the court and just say, we're going to practice this because that's what so-and-so does. Both ways work very well. You may see pros doing the forehand above the shoulder more than a forehand slice, but we're not pros, so it doesn't matter. Both will work just as effective on any court, even at the pro level, in my opinion. The other thing we're going to look at with this chart here is, well, let's say with this red zone here, the drop shot to 1R and 1L becomes obvious how important that is. And just having the court marked up like this. I mean, so many players I watch, even just younger juniors, don't take advantage of this because they're afraid to lose. It may be a harder shot to make. I mean, you think like, okay, I'm going to hit a drop shot. It's going to land in here, and I'll make it. But that's not the game that I'm trying to, or that I'm showing you to play here. That's not a winning game. That's. It may feel like it's a winning game because you're winning, but it's at the end of the day, eventually you're going to run up to a wall, and you're going to have to learn to either not use the drop shot at all, or you'll learn to use the drop shot at 1R and 1L, and maybe you could say here in the middle as well. Otherwise, you're not going to use the drop shot at all. Now, I realize you could set up a point with the drop shot. You can set up like another ball where you see players. You can do that as well, but we're not really talking about that right here. So we're talking about a drop shot where you end the point. And you can play games where I don't see this enough either. Playing games with this red zone blocked out, like you can't hit there, or you could say one side can hit there, one side can't. I mean, and part of this might be you have to have a partner. You have to have a partner who's willing to cooperate with you. And part of the thing that I think that I did was I could do this with my students because I can make them do it. And not, I really, even with the students, I still would have a hard time making them do this. But you could think about like a playing partner who does this and doesn't want to make mistakes. They just want to play a match. And I'm okay with playing matches because that's one of the best practices as well. But when you want to get into like practicing stuff like this, most people won't do it. So it's hard to find a partner who's willing to do something that's hard and new. And that's probably part of the reason why this is ignored so much, and we kind of default to what we can control. Let's work on the forehand because I want to make it look like someone else's forehand. And there's not that feeling of actually playing the game and making mistakes and losing. There's not losing. Oh, I'm working on my forehand. There's no lose. No, you when you work on your game, there should be an element of losing. Uh, getting used to that feeling. And there's so many players that don't like that feeling. They don't, and that's why they don't get better. They can't stand uh, the losing feeling, which is why tennis is so great for a self help, self improvement tool as well, which I'll get into maybe in another video. So I'm gonna leave there for now. This will be just the first my introductory video regarding this uh, court setup and the way to look at the court, look at the game. I hope you enjoy this video and look forward to more. I think if you watch all these videos, you'll really see it come together for you, um, and it will help you become a better tennis player and definitely have a higher tennis IQ.